Welcome to another episode of This Old Hooptie, where I take this piece of crap and try and make it into something a little more pretty, I hope. In today's episode, we're going to be doing some maintenance. We're going to swap out the rear pinion seal and the rear seal for the differential. Both of them are leaking and it's making quite a mess, so let me show you that. Hopefully that's lit up. You guys can see that there's a leak under here, and this is quite a mess. And the bottom side of the bed, which is over there, you can see has all of the fluid all over it. You can also see in the back here that this is leaking from here. So we're going to replace both of these seals, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but we've got some damaged brake lines as well. So the brake lines have been ordered. Let's get back to the seals. This is everything that I need to replace those two bad seals. I need some sockets that are going to fit. I'm going to need some fluid to replace what I'm taking out. I'm going to need the pinion seal and the rear seal for the differential. I'm going to use a puller for the pinion seal to get the old one off. I'm going to use this puller to remove everything in front of the pinion seal so I can get that taken out and taken care of. Got a little bucket there because I'm going to make a mess when I open up that housing. It's going to spill all over the place, and that is going to catch it. Then we're going to clean things off a little bit with a brake cleaner and some paper towels so we can see that the leak is gone once we replace the gaskets. And that's what's going on for today. Let's get right into it. Come on.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shoot tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes.
Okay, so on first inspection, we're doing pretty good. We got no metal shavings or anything other than some nice fluid in here, so that's good. There's no magnet on here, so I'm going to add one, but aside from the dirt from pulling this thing off, there's nothing. There's no metal. It's all clean. That's good. So we're going to drain it all out. I'll clean off where the old gasket was. We got our new gasket over there. We'll get to that in a minute. So I guess the way I'm going to do this is I'll probably cover this up with a shopping bag, clear off the excess garbage off of here, you know, get this old gasket completely removed. It's pretty much permanently a part of the metal, and then we'll reseal this up and start working on the front end. All right, we got a Felpro gasket, which is going to replace our old one. We'll put that off to the side. Just a plastic bag. Make sure no additional garbage gets in here while I'm cleaning off the outside of the housing. Now I can scrape all the rust and grime and crap off of here and not get it into the back. Okay, it's about as clean as I'm going to get it with this. Just give it a quick scuff with a scuff pad, and we'll keep moving. Alright, got our diff cover all cleaned up. All the gasket has been removed from this surface. It's ready to be mated with the gasket. We're going to take this off. and tighten them, and then get the torque wrench.
So if you're doing this with the bed off, everything's probably going to be upside down to whatever I'm doing, so keep that in mind.
That's a quick way to get it off. Not going to get it back on that way. There we go. We got our yoke off. We're going to clean off around here and remove our bad seal and then replace it. Now, I know you guys saw that smashed up e-brake while we were working on this thing. So that's in the works. It's going to be in the next 1 or 2 videos. Before I get this sealed up back here, I want to have everything replaced so this truck is as safe as it can be, because I may not be the only one driving it. So I want the e-brake to both rear wheels brand new and all the way up to the front of the truck, because it is frayed and it is very, very loose. So replacing it now is a good thing. It's like 30 years old. So I'm going to get that done. Parts are already here. Just got to get the time to do it. Let's get back to what we're doing. Okay, just grease the outside. Let's get it seated. Clean any of the gunk out of here. Look for our mark, which is right here, and line it up with our mark on the shaft. That's right here. Now we'll just use our nut to drive everything back into place. Okay, so you guys saw that was still leaking after I replaced the seal. Now, that is partially my fault because I didn't check anything prior to installing. I just went and ordered the part. The part was delivered. I had selected my make, model, year, etc. of this truck, and as you saw, that didn't work out so good. It leaked just as bad as before I changed the seal. So, let's go over to the counter here and I'll show you why. As you can see, the new seal that came in is different. That's the new one. That's the old one. So if you take the old one, it's a nice tight fit right there. It sits right at the top. If we take the new one, it just drops. So obviously that's not going to create any type of seal. So let's go over this really quick. Maybe this will help somebody else not make the same mistake. The inner diameter of the new seal that came in was larger than the original one. So I went to the auto parts store, I went over to my local O'Reilly's, and I looked on the screen and I saw this one looked very similar to the original. As you can see, both the inside and the outside match up nicely. So I took this with me to the store and I placed that upon it. And sure enough, it fit perfectly, unlike the one that I ordered from Amazon did not. I'm a firm believer in showing people my mistakes. If I can learn from them, anybody else can, and hopefully somebody else doesn't have to do the exact same thing I did. You know, get all excited when the part came in from Amazon, rip the thing apart, put it together. I should have checked to make sure it was the exact same size, but I didn't, so that's on me. But in the end, this should turn out nice, and myself, as well as hopefully at least somebody else, will learn from this and not do the exact same thing. Let's get this put back together. Get our little dust cover off and get back in action here. We're going to take a little of the good oil, lubricate the outside so it'll slide right in. Same thing with the inside here. Well, let's get this reseated. Now we've got our marks on the top of here, which need to line up with the mark that's right over here. Hopefully you guys can see that. There's actually a line right here. We'll line that up. Well, that slid right on there, didn't it? Get our washer in place. Get our nut in place. Now our nut's got our mark right here. There's only one. Yeah. There's 4. Okay, we got our 4 thread showing right on the top. We got our line here, match with our line here. Now we can get our drive shaft back on. Before we get our drive shaft back on, I'm going to use the hole here and I'm going to refill the rest of the differential to make sure we don't have a leak. That way I don't have to do this a third time. Alright, if all goes well, we shouldn't have anything coming out over here, and we're going to fill it until we get some coming out over here. So far, so good. We have no drips coming from under here, and we've got 3 quarts inside already. Okay, as you can see, it's starting to weep out the hole over here. So that means we're full. Put the rest back in the bucket. Now that we're done over here, we'll get our cap back in. Okay, so the repair is a success. Now we're going to address the breather tube, which I believe is the cause for this entire situation. Because of the fact that it kept getting smashed up against the bottom of the bed, the little bits of metal that are inside that hose compressed completely, and it was no longer breathing. So for those of you who are actually mechanics, do me a favor, leave a message down below. Let me know if I'm right or wrong about the breather tube being crushed and causing this situation. Also, if you have information on how to properly do this, if my way was not the proper way, you might as well leave that too so other people can follow along and do things correctly. Let's get back to buttoning this thing up. I'm gonna move the truck forward a tiny bit just so I can turn this to get it to slide in place, like that. Now we're seated on this end and we're seated on this end. Now I can lock things down. Now I'm just torquing these down by hand, nice and tight. I'm sure there's a proper sequence or a proper pounds torque, and if you would be so kind, leave that in the comments down below. Okay, we're back in action. We have no leaks in the front or the back. And now let's address this smushed little piece of hose here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it back a little farther here. I'm gonna put it back through here where the opening is right here, and that should do for now. Once I have the bed back on, I'll replace this with a longer hose and I'll run it up somewhere else. So let's get this cut back to where it's actually open and able to breathe. There we go. Now at least we have room to breathe in there. That'll hold for right now until I replace the whole hose. Okay, we've taken care of all of our leaks. Hopefully somebody will not make the same mistake I made by watching this and learning from my mistakes. Yes, I know there's a lot of mechanics out there that know exactly what they're doing, but there's also a lot of DIY guys who don't know what they're doing, like myself. I'm sure like most of you guys like to tinker around with your own stuff. Me too. DIY is kind of cool, so I like being able to tear into my trucks and seeing what I can and can't fix on my own. I have 3 of these, so doing it on this one will allow me to do it on the other 2. My S10's not leaking, but the Tahoe does have a leaky pinion seal in the back, and it also has the seal on the rear of the transmission, and both of those are pretty much the same process. So now I can do both of those. All right, guys, you know what to do. Like it if you like, don't if you don't. Subscribe to keep up with my latest shenanigans, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.